Back in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. For all things track stars, make sure you go to trackstarswithaz.com. Follow us on Instagram, like the Facebook page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. What's going on, DJ?
Ain't nothing, man. This is an interesting day, but God is still good, bro.
Shout out to Sean. He's not here today. Y'all keep his family in prayer. His daughter wasn't feeling well yesterday, so he wanted to make sure she was all good, tucked away today. So shouts out and prayers out to Noah. And he'll be back next week, hopefully. So, yeah, me and Jeremiah holding it down. Producer Jerry, too. Appreciate you, Producer Jerry. So, Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
You brought this up on our call, and it is so bone-chilling to me to be thinking about having to talk about this conversation. But the first conversation is about Doja Cat, right?
Yeah.
And this Demons video. Talk about your reaction when you first saw the video.
I didn't see the whole thing. I mean, I think
I didn't either.
The funny part was I saw a cat that's on TikTok who's known. I think his name is K-Sit, something like that. But anyway, he tried to like react to it. Yeah. He watched a few minutes of it, turned it off, and started playing worship music.
Yeah, he started playing.
And like this is like
King Jesus.
No, that was that's something that what's the name of them did. He played the actual gospel song.
Oh, did okay.
Yeah. That's what we talking about. Yeah, he played that. Yeah, man, it's she gone, bro. Like I remember when she first came out, she was like gimmicky, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it was like she had a song about a cow, and you know, just to see her go from that to like she had a song called Say So that was like a pop rap type song that was everywhere, and to go from that to all the way over here, it's just like, bro, what is wrong with these folks? Like it's just very interesting that's what's going on. So
what do you think her real character's like, right? Because I was looking at some interviews when I was researching this, man. She's clap back on the whole, did she sell her soul to the devil? And it's like, man, she's childlike. She doesn't take it seriously. She's kind of like, people run away from me like little kids at the playground. Like she kept like repeating it. Almost like she's kind of like having some kind of weird experience that she's not even like really
some demons,
there.
Man. That's some demons.
Yeah, and I think when you play around with imagery like that, you really speak those things into existence, man. She may be in a place right now. I know it's been a couple of months now that everybody's kind of watched this transformation. She may be in a depressed place. She may be in a, mentally mental state that just no one's aware of because, it's masked behind the music, behind the entertainment. But what I really want to know if people are actually actors, artists, rappers, singers, whatever, like, are they playing a role most of the time, or is this who they really are? Because I asked that question during the Beyonce conversation with Tiffany Montgomery. Like, are they playing a role, or is this who they really are? What do you think?
I think if they are playing a role, it's a stupid role because you're in essence like you're dealing with something that you don't even know what you're dealing with, like, and you're opening up something that you don't understand, you know what I mean? And I think, like, I remember seeing something with Tyler, the Creator, talking about how he was using upside down crosses and people were so like anti him because he's doing that because of the devil worship and people saying he was a devil worshiper and all that. And he was just talking about, y'all was saying all that about me, but these other people were shooting, killing, and all this other stuff, and y'all didn't have no problem with them. But I think the thing with symbolisms is like you're playing with stuff that you don't know. Like even if you're feeling like, yo, this is just a gimmick, I'm just having fun doing it. Yeah. It's a dangerous situation because you're playing with something that in essence can really harm you in the long run. Like it can really be a situation where I don't think I think we're so Hollywood out with demon possession that we don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't understand that the demonic realm is real. The demonic realm, when people tap into something, like we had that conversation about old boy from Snowfall when he talked about he had asked the devil to come inside him just so he could do something in the script. First off, I don't know. I haven't watched Snowfall, so I don't know. But I'm sure there's nothing in that script that will make you do something that you need to call on the devil that bad. I mean, if you've been shooting people as an actor, okay, you've been shooting people as an actor. What else have you need to do to call on the devil?
I mean, you know, I think that was kind of one of the issues that, man, I can't think of his name right now. Heath Ledger had when he played the Joker.
Yeah,
you know,
well I
talked
also
about that too.
Yeah, I've also heard somebody that was on that set said he was fine after he played the Joker. He was like, he started playing another role afterwards. But I mean, at the same time, you never know how far deep people go into a role to get that going. To me, and here's the thing about Doja Cat. Doja Cat was successful. Like, she didn't need to. She didn't need to do any of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, if she was trying to be like, y'all, this is my Thriller thing, you know what I mean? Because even when you read the lyrics to the song, like I was reading y'all the lyrics on Wednesday night, and I was like, they don't even match up with the song. It's talking the hook. In the hook, it talks about like, I'm dealing with my demons or blah blah blah. But in the verses, like if you compare it to Thriller, like when you read the lyrics to Thriller, it's like, okay, I understand why you did this in the video because it makes sense to the verses. But the verses is like regular hip hop, like it's regular female hip hop raps or male raps that's like talking, so it didn't make sense. So I think that the thing is, it's just one of those things where you just don't want to tap on that door, because that door open, you start losing your mind. You start, you know what I'm saying? And people don't know what they're tapping into when they tap into the occult and demonic stuff.
It's hard to believe that people really want to play with that, you know, especially if you're not really into it.
Why?
You know what I'm saying? I think because, I don't know. There's a world of reality outside of your music, your artistry. Like, there's a world out there, and it exists with, you know, real people. Not like you can shut a door to, you know, the people that you think are in your life for the wrong reasons. You think the people are in your life that are fake. You know, we had a conversation not too long ago where, you know, Kanye was like he wanted to get away from all the yes men that were telling him everything that he needed to hear. And so you get to that point where you're like, okay, but who are you when you close the door? You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to family dinners or you go see family, like who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? And is this somebody that you know, can explain away as your you know, like the Sasha Fierce thing? Like Beyonce is gonna explain that away. You know what I'm saying?
But
not to the point where she's sitting at the kitchen table like channeling Sasha Fierce, but it's something that she does when she's out on stage or whatever.
Well, I don't think she is like channeling that anymore. I think she's past that. But I think I'll say this. I think at times people think certain things that we just don't understand. Like, you know, it's just weird, man. I think one, as believers, we gotta step our game up when it comes to spirituality. I think we're so used to seeing people do spirituality things or look like it's spiritual, and it's so fake and is laughed on. But the stuff the devil's doing is not laughed upon. It brings fear in people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's to the point where, like, when you watch stuff now, like I can't watch certain horror movie commercials now.
Oh
dealing with spirituality. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I ain't gonna say the name of the movie that's coming out soon, but I keep seeing it and I'm like, I turn my head and I'm like, I've never been that. Like, I mean, like I wouldn't go see it, but I've never been that person where something come on television or like on the internet and you like, oh, I can't watch, and I'm like, why this feels weird. Like, that's normally like not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just telling people, man, like, we need to step our spiritual game up. Like, we need to really understand our warfare is not guns and knives. Our warfare is prayer, fasting, and, you know, the power of the Holy Spirit. And I think we laugh so much about it when we see it and be like, oh man, that's phony, that's fake. And I think we're making it digress. And then we also don't have that power to combat that. So when stuff do pop off spiritually, you don't know what to do. You may you're stuck because you don't think God could do that because you're seeing it.
How much of this do you think is bad decision making? Right? Like, I was watching a TikTok video the other day where they were talking about the decisions you make in your 20s, decisions you make in your 30s, and then when you get to your 40s, right? And he was basically going through a progression. Like, in his 20s, he was like, "Yo, where are we going? I'm out. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go out all night and party, right?"
Yeah.
In the 30s, you're more asking like, how long are we going to be there? Who's driving? You know what I'm saying? Like you're more cautious. Yeah. And then when you get to your 40s, the dude was like, I'm not even going. I'm upset that you even asked why I'm going, right? Yeah. So how much of this is bad decision making by a lot of these artists? Like Doja Cat is 27 years old. You got Lotto and Red, the new girl, and all these folks are like they're in an early age of influence and I guess living in their prime and doing them or whatever. How much of it is bad decision making to where you can look back and be like, yo, I was tripping when I did that? Because we all make that mistake.
Bad decision making and demon possession, I don't think that's hand in hand. I think that's one is lack of knowledge, and then the other one is trying to get power and get knowledge and get, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm talking about in the sense where their music, their lyrics, their content, all of that. Like, how much of this is bad? Like, the lyrics are just crazy. Like,
yeah, I know, but here's the thing, y'all. We gotta understand too. Some of these people was born in bad decisions.
Yeah.
Now I don't think we can take account of that. Like, some people were just born in bad decision, because that their parents may not have wanted them. Their parents made a decision to have sex out of wedlock, and they thought something was going to be different, and it didn't. So you're raising a child in a situation that, like, I know we grew up the way I grew up. I didn't have everything, but my mom worked and she gave me values as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know if these parents are giving people values. So if you're not giving people values and morals, when they grow up, they're raising themselves. So they don't know what's right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? What's right and wrong for them is like, you know what I'm saying? I always say the new common sense is right and wrong because everybody don't have it.
I think you have to go back to parenting on this big. Like, Parenting 101 is big with this conversation because there is a generation that let down their guard and let their kids run wild and let them, Yeah. And then you got to also wonder, too, like, how many of these parents are celebrating this or how many of these parents are ashamed of this?
I mean, another thing, too, is how many parents are getting kickback from this.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the Wu-Tang kind of movie.
Yeah.
And, like, their biopic kind of thing.
Yeah.
On Hulu. And one of the, I think RZA, I don't know how true this is, but she knew that they were selling drugs in her house.
Yeah.
Like, she knew, but she was getting kickback from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when your kid is doing something positive, because I know we kind of merging everybody in together, but when your kid is rapping more than selling drugs or in the streets or for a woman, a strip club or whatever, and you thinking that's more positive than that, then you're going to celebrate that because they're not in those environments no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But going back to Doja Cat, man, I think for her, she may be bored and she may be like, I mean, she's to the point where she's losing her fan base. Like, she's telling her fans she don't care about them and she don't care if they don't follow her or not. So
yeah.
It's crazy.
You see a lot of artists, you see a lot of, like, people, when they get fed up with something or they get tired of the lifestyle, they retire. Do you think that that's going to happen at an earlier age for a lot of these folks? Because think about this, like, the young ladies that are making these songs, Big Lotto and Glorilla, like, they are in these music videos objectifying each other. You know what I mean? Like, the strip club theme is pretty much in all of these music videos that they put out. How much of this do you think they're going to look at and say, you know what? By the time I get to a certain age, I've lived this life and I'm done with it. Like,
I mean, unless God revealed himself to these people, I don't think they're going to do it. I think people don't get that sin is fun, and rapping about sin is fun, and getting the success of you rapping about sin, and you don't understand like how people used to talk about, like, using an example of somebody selling drugs, right? Mm-hmm. So they're selling drugs, they're destroying the community, but at the same time, they feel good, like, because I'm getting money for this. I'm living good. I'm living way better, right? So for somebody that's in, like they could be picked out of a bad situation and in a better place in their personal life, but the music that they're putting out is hurting a generation. Mm-hmm. And unless God reveal that to you, you're still thinking my success is my success.
So here's a question. if you could take away one and leave the other, right? Let's just say you take away fame and you just leave, or let's say you take away money and you leave the fame. Would they be doing this if there was no check involved?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know. Because we don't. That's a hard question to ask, because that's what anything, like, if you're not, unless you know your purpose in life, if you know your purpose is to do music and just do artistry without getting paid, then you would do it. But we just don't know that from everybody.
Because, the money is the root of all evil. And so when you think about, the saying, you think about this being like, okay, not to separate them from a hedge fund manager that's ripping people off, trying to take away, people's pensions and 401ks or whatever, life savings. But is money to the point where you just see a certain dollar sign and you're like, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to act. I'm going to take off my clothes. I'm going to say whatever I want to say.
So do you got, okay. So maybe you have two type of artists.
Yeah.
Maybe you have an artist that's like what you're saying, where it's like, okay, I need to get paid, so let me just have a better life for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So their God is mammoth in essence, because they really believe in their God is money, basically.
Yeah.
Then you have other people who are tapping into other stuff so they can get higher and get, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how many people in the industry that they consult mediums, they consult psychics, they consult witches, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's deeper than what people think it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just surfacey of what's going on in the industry. That video with Doja Cat, that's just the surface. That's just the surface level of what people are seeing.
We saw what Kanye was doing at the party that he threw.
But that's what I'm saying. It's that stuff is surfacey. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's like a surfacey level of stuff versus when occult practices. You get what I'm saying? All of it is occult practices, but like how you have quiet time with the Lord, people have quiet times with spirits, or quiet or try to contact demonic entities. So
yeah, man, that's a scary one. So our poll question was, do you think, what do you think? What are your thoughts about Doja Cat? Is she trolling? Is she somebody you've never heard of up until now? Is she has she sold her soul, or is she a weirdo? Right? Yeah. So of those four, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't know what I voted. I can't remember.
I said weirdo. I don't think she sold her soul. I don't even know if she even knows what that really looks like. Because like I said, when you see her in interviews and she's asking the question, she's playful. Like, she doesn't seem like she even thinks it's a real thing.
I think and she's a troll. She know also. I think a lot of people know, like, they're taking the trolling. Like, we should do like the top 5 trollers of hip hop, because I feel like she's kind of taking the Lil Nas X thing. You know what I mean? When he was doing the Satan sneakers and all this other stuff, but I think when you tap into that energy, and like she had a video, I saw something last night where they was talking about a video before this demon video where she was walking around with like death, and like it was just a lot, you know what I mean? So she could just be trolling, but also she could be tapping into something that she's gonna regret for later on in her life, you know what I mean? So
yeah. So I got another question to ask you about this, right? So according to YouTube, this video has gotten over 10 million views. What do you think is the general census of people watching this video when they're? Because I didn't get all the way through it. I was like, okay, I'm done. Just needed to see enough to have a conversation about it. But what is the general census that you think people are getting from these videos, or the reaction that they have when they finish the video? Are they in the position where they're like, oh, this is just her playing around, this is too dark for me? No. Like, what is the majority of people? Because I watch a lot of old westerns and stuff, right? And one of the things that they're really heavy on in westerns is the appearance of God. Like, they were really, really big on going to church. There was one church in the town every Sunday morning. Everybody was there unless you were just a heathen and the villain or whatever. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, how many people would see this and be like, that was too dark, that's too much?
I mean, in the
getting off of
comments,
that.
a lot of people was like, "Thank you for doing this because I'm going to church on Sunday."
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe that's something that backfires where people are like, "Yo, this is too much. The industry getting demonic. The music is sucking. I'm tired of this." You know what I'm saying? Let me go to listen to something else. And maybe this helps people get back to church. So
yeah, and the lyrics were really stupid on this song.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
really
it doesn't match up what she was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she had something where, like in the video where like she's rapping and stuff, and she see demonic stuff, or she see like demons, like that, then I could understand it, because the song, like I said, the song, if you don't never see that video and you just play the music to it, they're gonna play it in clubs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't match what she was. The visuals don't match the song. So in my mind, I'm like, is she trying to tap into something? Is she like, is she trying to troll? Is she trying to tap? But I'm saying this, and this is the last thing I'm saying about it. Yeah. Don't knock on the door that if it opens and you get jacked up by what you open yourself up to.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much stuff that people don't talk about when they come to possession. So, yeah.
You're right, man. So y'all keep it going in the chats. We're gonna have more conversation about that. You're in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
It's time for the entertainment report with Jeremiah.
All right, man. Entertainment report time. Let's get it going. All right. First off, one of the big stories of the week was Diddy has a change of heart. Sean Diddy Combs is reassigning the publishing rights of Bad Boy Records catalog to the artists and songwriters behind the music ahead of the music's label 30th anniversary and his own upcoming album release. A notable move after Combs has faced years of criticism. He didn't treat artists fairly. Instead of selling Bad Boy Records catalog to interest candidates, Combs decided to reassign the publishing rights to the label artists and songwriters, including the likes of Faith Evans, the estate of Biggie, and Mace. Former Bad Boy Records artist Mark Curry feels that Sean Diddy Combs' decision to give artists back their publishing rights is too little too late. Diddy gave the publishing back, so what? Curry wrote in a post caption, "It has no value. I want him to give me $1 million cash, and then I can plan the rest of my life out as well." What are your thoughts, man?
It's interesting because, I mean, a lot of people pay top dollar for their publishing.
Yeah.
So if he's giving it away, is he losing, or why is Mark saying that?
Well, because he's saying like after all these years, it's worthless. Like some of he's like, you can't. He like some of these songs are worthless.
It's not true though.
Well, to me, I would say this: for somebody like him, it's true.
Oh, for him,
yeah,
of course,
yeah.
But
because
not Biggie.
like Biggie or Mace or people who had like hit records and stuff. But at the same time, though, I would say if it's a difference between my song coming out in the 90s and it was hot versus my song coming out, like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of placements you can get some of those songs. So
I think so. I think you still hear a lot of look at the what is it, the Bounty commercial with Tag Team. Whoop, there it is. Like,
but the placement has to make sense. I've seen some Biggie stuff with, like, I think I saw a Hypnotize and a beer commercial.
Yeah,
I saw some other stuff. It's never too late if you had a hit record, you're good.
Yeah.
But I think for it won't be as, I think what he's coming across and saying, like, it won't be as big as it once was when it was in its heyday. You know what I'm saying? Like a good song isn't going to last. A good song will last you for years for you to be on the road to and get placements on, and depending on who the artist is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like some other artists, if let's say I was in a group 112 and I didn't write anything. Yeah. I mean, I get no money from no publishing. I get money off of going on tour and doing shows. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, you know, and then let's say those songs don't get used in placements, then what you do with that? You know what I'm saying? Because if your song get played on the radio, you ain't getting a lot of money, especially if it's not a hot record. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of stuff to it.
I see what you're saying.
All right, man. Jesus at the VMA weekend. A Sunday service gospel explosion concert doing MTV's VMA weekend this weekend in Newark, New Jersey. This weekend is a free event going on at Military Park this Sunday. The artists performing: Kenton Jones, MC Nice, Angie Rose, Dayton, Miss Tiffany, Clifford Gray, Prophet Link, The Saga, Skirt Boy, I'm sorry, Heesan Lee, Adam, Jay Roman, Kalandri, Cole Campbell, Toya Love, and then I believe it was somebody else, O'Dane Walby. So that's going on this weekend. Shout out to MC Nice. He was talking about that too. I think so, a week or whatever. He was very heavily involved. He was saying, I saw a post on his stuff. So, what do you think about that, man? Because I've been calling the VMAs the SMAs for the Satan Music Awards. Because it's been nothing but the demonic.
I mean, I think that's just kind of like, we got to bring light to it.
Yeah.
You got to bring light to it. I think it's a good thing.
All right, man. Another big news this week was, of course, the whole talks about Lecrae and D1. And Lecrae did bring down the shirts and stuff of that nature. But the crew had an exclusive interview with D1. And he talked about him having a song with The Game on his new album. He said... he is used to collaborating with mainstream artists, and D1 is that he did some records before with Lupe, Mars, and other people. He said, "There's one thing I respect." He said The Game told him this. He said, "There's one thing I respect about you is you stand on what you believe in." He said that this first record he ever did without cursing. He said he did that out of respect for D1 because he knows he's doing it and respecting his wishes not to curse. But I think people in the comments were saying that this is kind of funny that you were going at Lecrae, talking about these shirts, and you got somebody on you. So what are your thoughts?
Oh, man. I mean, The Game is forever burned in my memory on that Holy Water song. Like, that just blasphemy, man. And, yeah, I guess, like I said in the earlier conversation, do people do things at the early stage where they regret it and say it was a bad decision?
Yeah.
The Game doing that song early on in his career was a bad decision, and now he's kind of like, I think it's a good thing. I'll say it's a good thing, especially if you get somebody like The Game who's, a street guy, gangbanger, to not curse in a song. I can't wait to hear what the content is about. I'm wondering.
Well, the album is out now, so you can go check it out.
I'm wondering, is he saying anything about God in it? It's interesting. I mean, but D1 has that spirit on him where I think people really do feel that way. I think people will come around him and be like, "Yo, let me make sure."
Do you think it's hypocritical? Because I mean,
I gotta hear the song. I think if the song is, I think if the lyrics of The Game are hypocritical, are bad, then it's hypocritical to rap.
But I mean, if it's like, okay, if the song is talking about, let's say the song is talking about like being the best you, right? And in the song, to me, it has nothing to do with the song.
Yeah.
To me, it's about your collaboration with The Game. Now, for some people, for me, I've known D1 for years. I've had his mixtapes when he was doing stuff with Manny Fresh and different people of that nature. So I know what type of artist he is. But for somebody that's new, they're like, yo, you calling out Lecrae about these shirts, and you got one of the most like ratchet person that you can think of from the West Coast on your project. So that's their perspective. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's about the lyrics, though, man. Honestly, I think it's about it's got to be about the lyrics. It's no different from him having Lupe Fiasco,
yeah.
Because
and Big Crit on that record, yeah.
Well, I say Lupe Fiasco for sure because he's a Muslim.
No, but I'm just saying even Big Crit is more of, he's not like a Christian hip hop artist. He's more of like just a hip hop artist from the South that rap about all types of stuff too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, to me, I'm just saying for the people that as I was reading the comments in the thing the crews put up, that's what people were saying, like how you going at Lecrae and you got somebody as ratchet, so it's okay to take. You're against the shirts, but you're okay with collaborating with somebody who's ratchet.
Yeah, because he can never put out a song that says a shirt that has something with The Game on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Game Over D1.
Yeah. That's funny.
That would be a problem.
All right, man. Last but not least, unnecessary L of the week. The Grammys is getting the answer there. Unnecessary L of the week. The Grammys is nominating an AI song that wasn't from the actual artist. A Drake and The Weeknd AI song called Heart of My Sleeve was submitted by someone who made the song on AI, and the song was completely eligible to be considered for a Grammy, even though it was pulled from streaming services.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
First of all, whatever happened to the kid that put that out there? Did he ever get in any legal trouble?
I think they just pulled it. That's dangerous.
Did he make money off of it?
I don't think so, because they pulled it off streaming services.
I'm saying it streamed enough though.
But I mean, I'm sure if
views.
I'm sure if he probably got a few dollars, but I don't think he got what we all think he got.
I'm saying, is he entitled to it?
If he's the writer of it, I mean, obviously, because he's getting eligible to be considered for a Grammy.
Are they naming him? Has he named himself? Like what?
His name is like Ryan Righteous 777. That's his name. Like something like that.
Y'all always use me as an example when it comes to bad stuff. Okay, so I guess the question is, how far does this go? Like if it does win the Grammy, what in the world?
How the Grammys work is if you're part of the Grammy like board or like if you're in a Grammy shout out to Miles Minnick because he just said that he's part of the Grammy.
Yeah, MC Nice.
Yeah. So if you're part of that committee, you could submit stuff all the time for like hip hop or gospel, whatever. But my thing is,
it's got to go somewhere.
My only thing about the problem is this is AI. This isn't like the people that did it. Yeah. So it'd be like you're giving. That's the dumbest part about it. So you could pull it off streaming services, but they could be considered for a Grammy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The only reason why they doing it is because the person it was written by a human being. That's like.
But it wasn't though. It was.
I think they used AI.
By a human
I think
being,
they was using AI voices, but I think somebody probably wrote it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
So it's just using Drake's voice to write what you wrote.
Okay.
That's crazy. All right, man. Copper section this week. Projects D1 Uno, Savion and Malik's Straight Shot, Sonata Smalls, Bang, Steven Rizzo, Surrender the Will EP, Indie Tribe Still Holy single, Miles Minnick and DKGK, Revival Kid, Shepherd featuring Childlike CC and Tory Love, Stronger, Flame, 1525, Mike Teasy, Burn It Away, SO, In My Zone, Ty Lin, Give Me You, Cut Right, Let Go, Let God. These songs you can hear on the Milk playlist. Best in Christian hip hop, gospel rap, Christian rap. And for all you R&B fans out there, we did not forget about you. We have our Feel Good playlist, Best in Urban Gospel and Christian R&B. All right, you can hear those on Spotify. Check those out. And that is it, man.
All right. We're going to get back into some more music. You're in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Lego. Yeah, back in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Make sure you go to the podcast on Mondays, Apple iTunes, and download the podcast. Jay, I was looking at the reports the other day, man. We have been in the top 200 in about 7 or 8 different countries in the last month, man.
Oh, wow.
It's been crazy. Yeah.
That's dope. Reports where? For what?
For music podcasts.
On iTunes?
On iTunes.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
Yeah. I saw... I saw Dubai on there. I saw Indonesia.
Oh, wow.
I saw...
that's amazing.
Yeah,
man.
It's a lot
that's
of places.
Dope, man,
a lot of places,
honestly.
man. So please make sure...
Time for a trip.
It is.
A Dubai trip?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Caught up.
But yeah, let's make sure you keep on going out and supporting the podcast each and every Monday. Listen out for it, and then leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. All right?
Yeah, man.
All right. So this conversation, man, is around this movie, The Book of Clarence.
Book of Clarence.
When I saw this, I was like, wow, how blasphemous. Wow, how everything hypocritical, whatever you want to call it. Like, just... it's crazy, man, and you see Jay-Z promoting it a lot.
Yeah.
You see him promoting it a lot. So apparently the director of this movie, The Book of Clarence, was somebody who worked with Jay-Z on the Legacy album, some of the videos from the 444 album. And so it's interesting because when you think about all the things they say about Jay-Z and him promoting this, it feels like this could be about him. Seriously. I saw somebody earlier this week referring to that Marcus Rogers, his podcast. And so the interesting thing about this, man, is where do we start with this? Where do we start?
I don't know.
Because for me, there's a couple of things. One, why... gosh. Okay, so is this meant to be a comedy in your opinion?
I think Jay-Z originally, he talked about it on this article where he talked about how it's not about like Jesus, but it's almost like somebody worshiping what Jesus has and they want it.
Yeah.
And that they want to be like a celebrity or
Sound like Jay-Z.
Yeah, so I'm saying like
Sounds like Jay-Z.
I don't know, bro. I don't think that sounds like Jay-Z. It may be Jay-Z. But I think at the end of the day, just looking at the trailer, I was like, two things. One, why does Jesus has a crystal on his jacket? Like, Jesus ain't need on crystal to ward off bad spirits. That's one. And then two, I can get the logic behind the person being Clarence, played by the guy from Atlanta, Darius. Like, the mentality is, I see Jesus doing it, I want to do it, but for my own personal selfish glory and my own selfish reasons, so I could look big and everything like that.
Yeah.
So two things can happen out of that. I think the bad part about all this is because you know Jay-Z's history with the church and Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the bad part about all this. It's like, yo, we've known this guy for years to be like, say some anti-Christ type stuff about the church. So when you see something like this, it's like, ooh, I don't know, man. I want to see how this plays out, and go. I don't want to go see it, but
you cannot. Can't go see that, man. You can't.
Or wait till it come on streaming and just see, and then we have a real conversation about it, because you don't know based off the trailer. It looks like some mess.
It does look like mess. So one of the things I noticed in the trailer is they actually don't show Jesus' face. They may show it in the movie, but in the trailer they don't. But in the trailer,
when he starts touching people from like the shot that's from up top, his hands look black.
Oh, of course. I mean, his face looks black. Like,
well, it's blacking out.
Exactly. There you go. So my thing is this, though. I feel like what they're trying to make it seem like is Jesus is figurative. That's what it feels like to me.
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, he's not a person in this situation. He's this aura of light that everybody wants to be like, right? Yeah. And so to me, when I'm looking at the trailer, I'm like, yo, why not show his face? You know what I mean? Like, the glory of the Lord is reserved for, when we see him face to face in heaven. And so so when he was on earth as a man, he was a man. Yeah. So show his face. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to me, it feels like they're picking at it, right?
Or maybe the focus and this could be the good and bad thing depending on how you see it. The good or bad thing could be Jesus ain't the focus.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Like, Clarence is the focus. He just sees Jesus as the inspiration to say, I want what Jesus has right now.
Okay, but it's like give it a basketball reference, right? Like, give it a basketball reference where you see the bigger guy on your team signing autographs, right? Yeah. But then you're on the team, but you're just not signing autographs because nobody wants you. You're a rookie. You're whatever. So it's like, he's still a person. You can still show him, right? Yeah. But in this movie, it seems like he's kind of like I don't know. I definitely got the idea that they're trying to make it a comedy, right? Because according to what they're doing, they show the famous Sermon on the Mount, right? Yep. And he's saying something, and nobody's like there, like 4 people and cattle, listening to him speaking. It's like dry audience. So that was, to me, was supposed to be comedy. They ask him to walk on water, and he's terrified because he knows he can't do it. Yeah. So that seemed like that was comedy to me. Yeah. And then when he was getting baptized. Yeah. And he said something, and the guy slapped him. Yeah. And called him blasphemy. He said, that's blasphemy. And then there was another scene where he's got his friend faking like he's blind. And he's like, look, I just healed him, So I feel like it's a bit of comedy. So it could be more like satire, but I don't think it's gonna land. Yeah. One of the things I think was the worst depiction of In the Name of Christianity in the last year had to be Honk for Jesus. That was an awful movie. And so I feel like you're going along the lines of this, where people are going to be like, set it and forget it, right? Yeah. Like, saw it, forgot it, whatever. Yeah. And I just don't understand why. I don't understand why you waste your time doing that. Like, maybe if you're the director, you're thinking the long play might be, I'll get people to watch it up front, and they'll never watch it again. They'll never buy it on streaming. They'll never, like, actually own a copy of this movie, but it's just one of those like it almost feels like a clickbait. Let me get a bunch of Christians to come look at this. Well, I don't think many Christians are gonna, the book of Clarence. Come on now, just hearing that alone is enough for a Christian to be like, I'm straight. I'm straight.
I don't know, man. I think the thing is, like, even with Hung for Jesus, I seen what they was trying to do with that movie, so I wasn't like pressed. Like I wasn't angry because I felt like I've seen that before in real time. So it wasn't like anything that I'm like, yo, that's crazy that they did that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just interesting to me. I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, I think the backing of Jay-Z makes it bad. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because I think people know how he feels about the church. So it's like, you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? But, I mean, if it comes out, I'm sure we probably do another dissect on it when it comes out and really see, talk about it and stuff like that. But from the trailer, I think if Jay-Z wasn't attached to this movie, like if he was just like a silent person, like under another name, and people didn't know he was attached to it, how would you feel about it then?
Still, I mean, the Book of Clarence, like, it's just, to me, it's like if they had used a real character from a real book of the Bible, it would be more interesting to see.
Okay.
I think playing the role of Sean is like you always want to check to see if they got it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the hardest part of the criticism, especially if you're a director and you don't really know it. Can you tell the story, right? In this way, the Book of Clarence, nobody's expecting you to tell the story.
Now, here's a question. This is the biggest question I had about this whole situation. What if the soundtrack, he has nothing but like Christian hip hop and Christian artists that we respect? How would you feel?
That's interesting, and I almost think you have to do it. I do. Almost think you have to do it. I think that now if they do that, that changes a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a big expose. Like, God can use anything.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have written this movie or been about part of it, but I think if he uses this to catapult the platforms of Christian artists, or at least to hear Christian artists, do their thing, that would be interesting. Now, the other question you have is which Christian artist is gonna go for it? You know what I mean? Like, you truly believe in the Bible and the way it was told and the way we know it to be, and then you go out and you support this, knowing as blasphemous of the word.
Yeah.
Do you do it? Would you let FMG do it?
Would I can't let nobody do it.
I mean, you were the label runner for Trackstarz Music, so would you let FMG if they wanted to use Winning? Yep, there you go. If they called you and said they wanted to use King.
Oh, King.
King, Winning, Amazing, any of those. What would you say?
I had a conversation with everybody on the team and see what they said, and then I would make a decision based on that.
Well, first of all, we know what some of the team members are going to say.
Well,
if there's a check involved.
Well, here's the thing, and that's sad that you're saying that because you just basically threw us under the bus.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I'm saying
we had team everybody members, need that money, so
we had team members that are no longer with us that might be concerned as to whether or not there's going to be a check involved. That's true.
But how do you know that? You don't know that.
Yeah, I'm asking you the question if you think it's that way.
You already said yes. You already said that.
Yeah, well, I truly feel that way. But anyway.
I hope you don't.
You know I do. Used to manage y'all. But go ahead. So what do you think? Would you let it happen?
That's what I said. You didn't hear what I said. I said I would have to hear everybody that was on the song. What do you guys think about this? And I'll make a decision based off that. That's how I always have that conversation.
Said, Jeremiah, the decision's on you.
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I would say, because you don't want to be associated with it, but then also, if somebody did get that soundtrack that didn't know who the Lord was, and you revealed the true meaning of Jesus, then they could hear.
What if it was a certain part of the movie they could promise you the song was going to be on? Like, what if it was a part that was the best description of the Bible of the.
What if it's the part where Jesus is coming up and you hear King while they touching him and all like that? And I'm like, I wouldn't have a problem with that because that's what the meaning of the song is.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
But at the same time, I just know the trickery of stuff. So because you could say that, then somebody use your part where Jesus is a bunch of women coming towards Jesus, and he look like he jamming with him and celebrating with him. You know what I'm saying? Like a house party or something.
Like a DJ rip. Like they go, "Your love is amazing," and then they pull it back up, and then it's like dancing and.
But a comment from Mark Rogers in a comment, he said he heard and read at the end of the movie Clarence gives his life to Christ. So does that change your views?
Did he saw the movie?
He said that he read it.
He read it. That's That's a big.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
That's a big drop. I mean, okay, gives his life to Christ. Repents of the being. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If that's the case, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have to see it for myself.
Because it'll almost be like he repents, gives his life to Christ, and apologizes for trying to be or emulate him in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, I would probably err on the side of caution when telling folks to go see it, or if somebody asks me should they go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like anything else.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, keep it going in the chat. Shoot in the field with the track stars. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah, Lego. Yeah, back in the field with the track stars. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Make sure you go to nectardistro.com. Sign up today. Join the fam. Opportunity for you to have your music displayed to hundreds and hundreds of digital outlets. Keep 100% of your royalties. Yeah. And you get an opportunity to be a part of the Track Stars. All right? So make sure you go to nectardistro.com today. All right?
Yeah.
All right, Jeremiah. So this is another one you brought up that you thought would be a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Talk about that for me.
I saw a video of Sho Baraka talking about, and if you don't know who Sho Baraka is, you may be a little young, but Sho Baraka was one of the founding members. He was the founding members.
He was one of the original
artists
pioneers
of Rich Records. Yeah. So he wrote down, the video is actually pretty funny too. So he wrote down 10 things that would make CHH better. And I got this. They wrote it down on Rapzilla, so I took the list from them. But here's the actual list what he said. So I'm going to go from 10. You want me to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Let's go 10 to 1.
All right, 10. He said if you're black, for every CCM tour, like Winter Jam and all those, you owe shows at Baptist Church, Kojic churches, or just one Church of God a show. So basically, you got to go to that black. You need to go to the black. So the only
reason I didn't understand that, right? Because I almost felt like when I first heard him say that, if you do a show at CCM, I thought he was going to say you got to represent a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
what he's basically saying is like you showing so much love to. You're showing so much love to our white brothers and sisters, but you're overlooking your black audience.
But you also got to realize too, like that's a bigger platform than a certain audience. So if an artist does agree to do Winter Jam,
it's basically like if this was mainstream, if you pop in the mainstream, you still got to come back to the hood. Basically, that's what he was saying.
Okay, so the biggest issue there is the amount of money that people charge as artists these days.
But you still could do stuff. You can still
still do it.
You can still go to a church and say, "Hey, I'm doing a free concert at this church," and you talk to the people there. Let me show my merch. Let me sell merch outside, and that's how y'all pay me.
Now, the interesting thing about it is there's not that many artists that get invited to these larger CCM platforms and things.
Yeah, but when he's talking about the ones who's getting that opportunity, make sure you don't forget about the people that you know of, and you look it over. Well, anyway,
okay.
All right, so that was number 10. Number 9 was read books.
Read books, yeah.
Number 8 was go to church. That should be self-explanatory, but I think we do have a lot of rebel Christian rappers that are not tied to a church home.
So let's go back through them real quick. So number 9, do you think he meant read books, meaning like know your theology, know your topics?
I think as a rapper, your vocabulary gets better when you have more words to play with. So I think reading books helps you with that. Go to church, meaning like be inside some fellowship, like have a Have some fellowship with people, you know what I'm saying, so that people in the church can vouch for you and stuff like that.
It feels to me like he may have made a top 10, but he didn't rank them in any specific order.
He did.
You know
he went from 1 to 10.
No, I know, but I'm saying like in his mind of importance, because I would think church would be closer to the bottom.
It was. That's what I'm saying. With number 1, what we're going from 10 to 1.
Yeah, but you just said church was number 8.
It was on the when he said 8, go to church, making sure.
I'm thinking that's closer to the bottom though. Like number 1, number 2, top. Like top reason you need to. CHH needs help.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
All right. So number 7, let the genre grow with the audience. Meaning, like he was saying, basically, like you should be maturing with your audience. You shouldn't still be older and rapping younger. You should be at a certain point growing with your audience. You shouldn't be like that.
To me, that feels like he's saying let the audience embrace the younger guys. Embrace the younger guys, and if they're making music that a younger audience is down with, you step out of the way.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel about it?
No, he basically saying grow with your audience. Basically, like as somebody, if I was making music since the 2000s, I shouldn't still be trying to make the music that I made when I was younger. I should be growing as an artist. Versus
so grow with the. So for me, I would have picked grow with the genre in that situation, because the audience almost feels like keep making music for your for the people that listen to you. That's what I got from it.
Well, let the genre grow. Let the genre grow with the audience. Meaning, like if the audience is, if I listened to you when you were 20 something and I was 20 something and I'm 40 something now, you should be making music for me. Basically, you shouldn't still be making music for like younger people.
Because that's who your fan base is going to be ultimately.
Yeah, but I feel like
you can still make that type of music, but your goal should be like, how does my music sound older and mature? I guess.
Okay, let's just put it out there. I matured with Lecrae, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Lecrae is still making music for me, and he's making music for 17-year-olds, right?
Yeah, but I think at the same time, do you grow? Is that growth?
Lecrae?
I'm not saying Lecrae. I'm just saying using that method, like. At a certain age, okay,
it's keeping us hot. Keeping it hot.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I use Nas for example. Nas is, I mean, he still has the same kind of beats, but you could tell the maturity of who he is at the age he is now versus when he dropped, like, you know, It Is Written or I Am or whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel like Nas is a bad example to use in the situation of our genre. Like Lecrae is still making music for all of us. Right?
Okay, let's keep going. Let's go. Before the record deal, get counseling. That was number 6.
I agree with that.
Number 5, have close community in person. Let people correct you in person. That's number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, get off socials and shut your mouth. I kind of agree with that. Everybody don't need to be talking. Basically, that's what he was saying. Number 3, stop worrying about the mainstream. I like that one. I ain't gonna front. Mm-hmm. I think we focus too much on mainstream approval when if you dope, I think they should come to you versus you running to them and stuff like that.
Do we know how to keep ourselves from doing that, right? Because I think that might be something that Trackstarz also has dealt with, right? Like
what?
Like not knowing if you're doing something that is going to attract the mainstream or if you're doing it for your own audience. You know what I mean? Like for us, we've never tried to. We've always said we just want to be able to reach as many people as the Lord will allow, right? So for us, it's like we're not doing a show.
Trying to worry about the mainstream, meaning like mainstream media. Worry about like
exactly
like trying to. If I'm an artist, I'm worried about like I should be. I'm not grateful, but I'm trying to get on Sway or I'm trying to get on the Breakfast Club. But if I don't get on those, I'm like, I'm missing the mark versus like trying to get on our show or Ruslan's show or Crew or whoever. Like your focus is trying to reach the mainstream when they're not even worried about you. And normally how it works is those people look at you when you are at the total opposite of like when you're hot, when people like, yo, y'all know this about this kid? Yeah. This kid, he's coming up. I've seen him. He's dope. Let's get him on the show. That's what Sway would normally do, or somebody tells Sway like, "Yo, you need to have such and such on the show."
Yeah, I would say I would say in my mind, like, it's funny how you can list out a list,
Yeah.
and people take it a different way. Because in my mind, I'm thinking for like I'm in my mind when I said Trackstarz, I'm like, we don't make a show that's gonna we don't make our show to try to attract Revolt's attention. We make our show so that it can be about what we want it to be about. You know what I'm saying? And so if we happen to make, like, Sean's got us going crazy with the graphics and the studio setup and everything like that. So if we're making something of great content and they happen to see it and they now want to pull it out, it's like, oh wow, so you want to be able to showcase us on a platform where we can reach more people, which has been our goal the entire time, right? Yeah. So not about getting rich and famous, but being able to say, okay, we're using our platform to make sure that we reach those who need the gospel. So in my mind, I'm thinking the same thing when I hear that conversation. I'm like, well, don't we want Derek Minor and Cannon and all those folks to get these placements on ESPN so that the music can be heard? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he's not talking about that, bro. He's talking about your focus. I think because when placements is a little different than I'm trying to get mainstream's attention. That's two different things. A placement is like, I could send music to whoever. Doesn't mean that, you know what I mean, that we just highlight that these people get placements on these, but the average person don't know. They just hear the song and be like, okay, versus, yo, I got to get on the Breakfast Club. Yo, I got to get on such and such. And like, your focus is that.
Gotcha.
And you're worried about that.
Gotcha.
Instead of letting them look at like, yo, I need to find that person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say, yeah, in that situation, they definitely need to not.
You're very combative about this whole situation.
I'm trying to make conversation around what I don't understand. You're setting me up, straightening me out. But what I'm saying is, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, in this conversation, I would want an artist to, you know, be naturally themselves.
Yeah.
And not necessarily worried about whether or not their self-worth is in jeopardy if they don't get on the Breakfast Club or if they don't get on Sway. Like, don't discredit what God is doing in your life or with your ministry to the point where you're like, but if I don't make it on there, this is all for naught. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see artists worry about.
No, that's true. All right, number 2, learn English, like metaphors, motifs, double entendres, like English, not like learning the techniques of English.
See, when I first read that, I was like, is he talking about mumble rap? But okay, I got you.
No, bro. He's just talking about like
I'm just telling you
the mechanics of rapping, and using different things.
Yeah.
And the number one thing, which I agree with, bring Jesus back in the music.
Of course.
That was the number one. He started off the whole thing. He went 1 to 10. We went 10 to 1. But number one was, the first thing was bring Jesus back.
So, okay. That's a good question too. I feel like you could say that, but you're also looking at it like there's Jesus being talked about in a song, but it's just not the theology that, you know, he was on.
No, I don't think so. I think we're in a place where, that if I was new to this, I don't know if people are going as hard for Jesus as they once was.
Okay. No, I would. I mean, well, I just think that the genre has gotten so like saturated.
Yeah.
That people are making music of all kinds of ways, like all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
And they're calling themselves Christians, which is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Christian actors aren't just acting in Christian movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like it goes the same way. I feel like for us, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a Bible sitting out on our table, but it doesn't mean that we're not living a lifestyle that's pleasing to Christ, or that we're trying to, live a life as believers. And so, to me, it's like, well, we're still a Christian show because we're sitting at the table and we confess Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. So, to me, that's what I think it comes down to. I think it comes down to, like, I sent somebody a Big Breeze Scooty Wop video, and I'm like, just knowing the imagery. Listen to the lyrics, right? Because the hook was, they're talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, but you see the video and they got cars and, you know, they swerving and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, I feel like that's just a changing of the guard and a new age of where we are with music.
But I just think it's not that. It's because even when 116 was out, different people were doing different types of Christian hip hop. So it's not that. It's just that the focus of late hasn't really been about, oh, this is Jesus.
Right.
It should be about impacting people's souls. It shouldn't be about getting people to a concert so they can see me. It should be about, we should get people to this concert because they need to hear about what God is, who God is, and different. Now, there's some artists out there doing that, but then there's some artists out there that's not doing that at all. So, and there's some artists, and like I said, I don't knock nobody for not doing what they do.
Yeah.
But you should remember, if you're getting into this space, remember that the purpose of you getting in this space is that you want to use your gifts to glorify God. You want to use your gifts to glorify God with your gift, and then also give people Jesus Christ, who changed your life, so you want them to change. That's why you're giving your gift.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I mean, everybody has, you know, entitled to their opinions. I'm sure they'll keep it going in the chats.
Yeah.
You know, we can always reach out to Show Baraka and maybe get his opinion on it. You know, go a little deeper with him.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get back into some more music. You're in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let go. Yeah, back in the field with the studio. Back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Okay, so this is one that's been interesting to me. I'll bring this up because it's something that I've been on lately. One of the things for me has been, one of the things for me has been the, what you call it, man? What is the word I'm looking for? It's the singles podcast.
Yeah.
Or podcast geared toward singles, unmarried people, that sort of thing. And that's, to me, has been really cool. So there's a podcast we've been listening to, Hardly Initiated. We started off this podcast because of D1.
Yeah.
He was on there when he was talking about, you know, what is it like to, you know, look for a single woman, single man, a guy, whatever, single man, so whatever. And you raised a good question. Are these podcasts helping Christian singles? Yeah. Right? And then are they helping married Christians as well, you know, because this podcast and a lot of others like it are bringing on either experienced couples, or dating couples, or they're just having like influencers. They're having experts on the topic come on these shows, and so it's interesting because one of the things I noticed about one of the shows I watched with the Hardly Initiated podcast was they had these guys on there who were pastors. One was Tim Ross. Yeah. And the other pastor, it escapes me. But they've had a lot of men of God on there. Yeah. And one of the things I haven't heard, and maybe it's because I haven't just seen them all, but the ones I've listened to, one of the things I haven't heard is the conversation on whether or not these men of God are steering them in the right direction of purity, of becoming a godly man. Because I have heard both the hosts on this particular podcast allude to being Christians, or at least knowing God. So, have you heard any of those podcasts?
I see so many relationship podcasts that's like, if I was single right now, I'd be like, God, where am I? Like, who? These joints here is like really bad. I just feel like that the podcast field, that everybody don't deserve to have a podcast. Honestly, I feel like certain people with the podcast game is like, it's beneficial to some people, but it's hurting a lot more other people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think we have to ask that question, like, what is this podcast? I think if you're watching a podcast like that, you have to ask that question. What is this podcast for? What is it trying to do? Is it trying to bring like division? Is it trying to bring Because I found some people, like I would say, for example, like Ezekiel and Preston Perry. If you know them from PIA, they got a thing that they've been doing where they've been talking to singles as Christian men, talking to single women and single men, and they've been doing a good job. So I like what they've been doing because of course I'm a believer and I like where they're coming from. Yeah, but when you go into the world, it's just superficial, man. It's very, very superficial. And like I've been seeing what you're talking about, but it's very superficial. Like I'm now, like we talked about it recently about shorts. Yeah. Like I constantly just do shorts now. Shorts too. And I bump into stuff and I'm like, ooh, that's bad information. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, this is coming from people who ain't saved or people who don't have a relationship with God. So of course it's superficial. Of course the guys are looking to conquer women. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to still have that player mentality or not being honest with women. Yeah. And then you have the women like, yo, you're not good enough. You're not good enough for me. You're not on my level. You know what I mean? So it's like it's so crazy that those things are popular in the culture, and it's just like it's really hurting people who really have the desire to be a husband or desire to be a wife, you know? Yeah.
My wife and I were listening to one when we were headed to the Holy Summit last week. And one of the things that I gathered they were trying to say about Christian men is that we're all yes men, right? They're like, oh, you'll translate. And I wonder how much of this is true for some people. You'll translate how you feel about Christ to everything in your life to the point where you'll say yes to anything, or you'll give in to what a woman wants you to do versus what you really want to do or what you really want to say. And it's interesting because, man, there was one specific example they gave, and I was like, whoa, that shocked me, right? Because I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'm going to give you the answer that they gave as far as the response, right? So a guy is going on a date with a woman for the first time. Yeah. And she texts him at the about 30 minutes out and was like, hey, I want to change the restaurant. I feel like eating here instead, right? If Maya had texted you 30 minutes out on y'all's first date, and let's just say y'all are blind at this point. I know y'all knew each other from the church beforehand, so it was more of a friendship than turned into relationship. But let's just say you and Maya were going out on a blind date. Yeah. And she texts you that 30 minutes early. What is your response? Are you gonna go to the new restaurant? Or are you gonna tell Maya that no, we made plans to be at this restaurant, especially if you're sitting in the parking lot?
I'm cheap, so I'm cheap. So I would go like, okay, wait a minute. Are we in this time, or are we in the time? Like, are we like in pre-internet time, or are we like in like time, or like we get internet on our phones, or? Yeah, let's just like we're right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now, I would go look and see like, yo, what is like the pricing of everything, right? Yeah. And I would look and see if I could afford it. I would be like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, like this is kind of out of my budget, to be honest with you. But the other restaurant was in my budget. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I would be honest. You know what I mean? Now if she like, well, we can't go because I like that restaurant, then I would be like, well, okay. I may have to catch you on another time.
So the purpose of this conversation sailed over my head like it sailed over your head, like it sailed over Sean's head, because I asked him the same question, right? And so the issue was the woman was testing him to see how manly he was as to whether or not he was going to hold his ground and say, no, we made plans to meet at this restaurant. Yeah. That's where we're going to eat. I'll see you in 30 minutes.
But why is that got to be a game, though?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Because then he was like, because the first conversation, the comment was, oh, yeah, he messed up.
But my thing is,
he wasn't a real man in that situation.
Okay.
And I'm like, what?
Okay, but you don't understand. Here's the thing. Yeah. I think we don't know what, quote unquote, today's society don't know what situations are. You know what I'm saying? Like you automatically think like this is what you're supposed to do. Because I mean, in essence, I could be that way, but then I could have been a jerk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you are a jerk in that situation if you text her back and say, no, this is where we're going to meet. I mean, the only thing I can see you saying that is your response being, well, I've been in the parking lot because I just wanted to get here a little early.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Because he said that he was like, okay, well, and they made it sound real bad. He was like, okay, well, text me the new address and I'll see you there. And she was like, strike number 1 against him.
But why?
Huh?
Because he just went along with what she said?
Because he just went along with what she said.
Well, maybe what if he likes her?
He never knew. He never
No,
met her.
but what I'm saying is, what if on a blind date, like, it's really getting desperate out here, right? Like, you're seeing people not, like, doing stuff now. They, like, I've seen a video of a guy crying because he got stood up on a blind date. So, now, I mean, stuff like that, dudes could be, like, easily like, yo, okay, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So, because you don't know how to do it.
It makes sense to me, but what they were basically saying was that the girl saw him as soft because he didn't stand his ground.
These new young ladies are interesting because it's like
it is. Why would you put somebody to a test like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would you put somebody to a test like that? So it made me.
Would you put a test to a woman like that? Like, would you have said a woman like call her like, hey, listen, you know, I'm XYZ, and you know, I want to take you here, but I can't, just to see if she's a gold digger.
No. Because first of all, in my mind, I'm not petty, so I'm not trying to be that person. Period. Like in my mind, I'm like, that's a game. I don't like playing games. That's for people who enjoy drama.
Yeah,
I don't like drama.
Yeah.
So,
but why and I wish we had somebody here that could speak for women and ask that question, because I'm like, why do you want to test the man? Why do you want to show games to the man? If I treat you well, you know what I'm saying, and you feel great in my safety, you feel great in my space, like you feel protected, you feel, you know, provided for, because in a date, I'm still going and I'm still paying for everything. Yeah. Like, are you like you still want to test me to see that? It's just crazy. Or here's the thing, if you think that, if you got to test a man, then that means you don't need to be going out with that man. In my opinion. Yeah. Well,
for me, I think it's a couple of things, right? I think one, in this day and age, singles are the time frame for singles are it's later in life, right? Yeah. And so I feel like you're getting a glimpse at how long you might be single if you play these types of games.
You think so?
I think so. I think if you play these types of games,
because everybody playing games now, bro. Like, men are playing games too.
Yeah, but to me it says you're not ready for marriage. So maybe marriage isn't the goal. But then this is where it gets tricky, right? If you're on a podcast and somebody says marriage isn't the goal, but you're a Christian, then now you're talking about a whole different conversation.
Well, that's a lot of Christians today. A lot of Christian, I ain't gonna say a lot. I'll say a few single Christian are like, I just want to see what's out there. I'm just having fun, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you just want to see what's out there? Like, you don't really, like, want to find somebody so you can spend the rest of your life with that person?
I heard a Christian couple earlier this week on a podcast say, and the Christian wife said that if a man doesn't find a woman, he can't find his purpose in God.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
And the reason she said that, now she brought up a good analogy. She said, how was a man brought into the world? Through a woman, right? And she was like, if he's going to be anything in life that he needs to be fulfilling the will of God, he may need a helpmate to help him get to that point.
He may need a helpmate, but but that doesn't mean that you don't know your purpose in life, because God can reveal your purpose to you. Mm-hmm. It just the thing is, the helpmate, your spouse is supposed to, you and your spouse supposed to help each other.
Now, she didn't say he won't find. She said he may not find.
Oh, he may not. Okay,
he may not.
The way you sounded like he won't find his purpose.
He may not find his purpose in life, right? And so,
but see, stuff like that. I ain't gonna say. Sometimes stuff like that makes it feels like a man ain't nothing without a woman.
No, I don't think that's what she was alluding to.
No, but when I'm saying that kind of conversation makes it sound like that. Like, yo, you without a woman, a man can't do nothing in his life.
It could,
and I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. But now she was saying that a lot of times you see women in a relationship empowering a man's dream, helping him understand helping him pull that out, like nurturing that dream.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's vice versa though.
It is,
because I feel like as much as my wife is doing some amazing things, she runs stuff by me, and we talk and we have good conversation, and when she feels doubt, when she feels certain things, I'm there like to be like to encourage her, to speak into her, you know what I'm saying, and letting her know that you can do this. Like this is not a problem. Like this is something like God put on your heart to do. You can do it.
For us, that's never really been a question about for our wives, because we were doing Trackstarz before we met them. Yeah, and we continue to aspire to other things with their help and their blessing, and then we see them starting their own. Yeah, you know, and encouraging them to go all the way with becoming Eva. And so for me, I'm a little worried about that narrative, because I feel like, man, it's hard to talk about anything else with a Christian single if they don't aspire to be married, because then you kind of got to stay away from their whole, what is your relationship looks like? What does your relationship look like? Because you got to remain in purity.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to push back on that, because when you talk about, I mean, there's biblical scripture talking about Christian singles not getting married. Yeah. They don't have a desire to get married.
For the ones that do, though.
Yeah. But I think we paint in a church Christian singles like, you got to get married, you got to get married. And for some, that's not burning with lust or burning or like, yo, I got to get something, or I need to it's better to marry than burn. Right. For those who are not like that, for those who can control themselves and like, yo, I have a purpose and I know what I'm called to do right now. I know what God's given me, the vision, the purpose, everything. I need to be about my Father's business.
The question, so that's what is the percentage of that what is that percentage you think?
Of that single?
Yes. That are out there. I'm thinking it's under 10%.
No.
I'm thinking it's under 10%.
No way.
The reason I say that.
No way.
The reason I say that is because if any of those singles are involved in any type of relationship, then you gotta have the question, is it better to marry than to burn, right? Then you get to a sticky point, because you're like, this doesn't apply to you if you're a Christian and you're out there doing the do.
Yeah, but I think what we've done, what Christian married people have done, is we rub their face in it. Like, you know, we married. Like, I remember years ago.
Hope we don't do that to our team.
No, I don't think we do. But I remember years ago being at church and just the married people bragging like, yeah, I get to go home and do what I need to do tonight.
Hey, it is.
You know what I mean? And you like at home like, dang, they getting to do what they get to do.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Whenever you have a Christian married friend or single friend, that's always going to be the reality of one or the other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think it was so. Marriage was so the key versus like just pleasing God.
Yeah, because you had a lot of people out there that didn't want to burn. I'm serious. Like that was a real thing. That was a real thing. I can't remember being in my 20s and thinking, yeah, I'm probably thinking I won't get married so that I'll.
So let me ask you a question. Yeah. If you in your 20s got like, yo, I am on purpose. I'm at a job that I love. I got a chance to do a radio show the way I wanted to do it at Praise, and I'm single, and I enjoy doing this. I'm thriving in this. I know what I'm called to do. God has given me he showed me, like you told me this years ago about radio. Yeah. He showed you everything. Yeah. And you're doing it like right now. Yeah. How would you be like still interested in getting married, or would you be like?
Yeah, I would be, because I think about the attention that brings.
So okay. So that's the question is, can you be in your purpose and have self-control?
Do you remember? Oh man, you remember back?
That's a good question.
Do you remember when I was? Saying
can you be in your purpose and have, Jerry? Can you think you could be in your purpose and have self-control?
I don't think so.
As a Christian single.
Not as a single. No, I don't think so.
So you don't think you can be in your purpose? You do not think you could be in your purpose and like you're focused on the task God put at hand, But you think you gonna always look to the left and be like, dang, she fine.
You are.
But this would be a question like, have I ever experienced it before? If I experienced it before, then it becomes something completely different because that's all your mind is going to be thinking of.
Yeah.
Is thinking of that.
Right.
So my thing is this, right? So remember when I was in Atlanta and I was working at the radio station?
Yeah.
And they came up with this whole, let's showcase Atlanta's most eligible Christian bachelor.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Praise did this?
Yeah, they did it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
And they were like, we need a spokesperson for the radio station. Who can we get? And somebody came to my desk and was like, come on, we need you on the radio. And I was like, what's up? And they were like, you're going to be
How many times they've done that before? Like, just grab people from inside to talk? Oh, wow.
I mean, I used to do drops on the radio. They're like, hey, I need you to voice this track real quick. You know? And so they were like, we need you to be the station's eligible most Christian bachelor.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay.
What year was this?
2007 or 8.
So was you like on videos, flyers, like
I was
drops on the radio?
It was an event, right?
Wow.
So they used me to bring people out to the event.
Yeah.
So they were like,
so women were coming in like, where's the
so first of all, they set up a website. Yeah. They made a profile for me.
Yeah.
Right? They put my picture up on the website.
Yeah.
And then they put me on the radio. And so it Praise 97.5 in Atlanta was the top gospel station in the country at the time.
And it probably still is.
It probably still is.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about over 250,000 people listening to that interview. And the phone lines lit up with young ladies calling. My profile views hit 200 in the first hour.
Wow.
And then I went to an event that had hundreds of people, and they put me on stage, and they had me do the dating game.
Wow.
And I had my best friend was in the audience, Wesley. He was, I couldn't see the girl.
Oh,
so
yeah.
my back was turned. And he's pointing out like, not that one. that ain't your type. That ain't your type. And so I say that because as they showcased me as Atlanta's, whatever the profile was, yes, I was in my desire at that time. I was living my dream. I was doing radio on a large scale.
Yeah. But you weren't doing this. You was doing more behind the scenes.
I was sales and marketing.
What I'm saying to you is, if you're doing your purpose, because I think sometimes I'm not saying if you're doing your purpose, you can't. I think some people, some singles can do their purpose and be like, okay, I do need a wife. I can't do this by myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying there's some singles that's saying if you drop them in their purpose, they're gonna have the self-control to be like that focused until God reveal that person to them.
They may have self-control for a moment, but there's a door of sin that could be not even lust, not even sex, but pride.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And so you may need a woman to bring you down a peg.
Yeah,
to make sure you understand. Like, okay,
so women bring humility.
Yeah. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
I think they.
I think men bring humility too.
Yeah, not so much as a woman. As a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could be really feeling yourself. Yeah. And then they come in and be like, you do know you still put your pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I think the church, we've done single people wrong over the years, and still probably am, because we don't focus on their calling, what God put inside of them to do if it's not inside their church. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like, keep going in your church, keep serving, keep doing this, keep doing that. And it's like, if you take them outside of their church, and then I would say this, I think the good thing about church, though, it does help you find what you're called to do. It does help you, if you get in the right ministries, it can help you cultivate stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes it goes from like serving in ministry, then finding a spouse.
That's conviction, though, because I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times the church has called me to ask me to do something that I never prayed about, and I just did it because I said yes.
And you're single, and when you were single?
No, now.
Man, we talking about singles.
No, I'm just giving you the example.
Yeah.
Like, you can serve in ministry,
Yeah.
and it might not have anything to do with your purpose, but because if the pastor calls you, you feel obligated
to go out
and serve.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you're the person
That's
that
true.
has the talent that can do it, so they're like, hey, can you do this, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't pray about it. God didn't say
Yeah.
go in to this ministry and
Yeah.
serve here, right? And then a lot of times when we were single, we did it because we knew there were young ladies there we could meet. And
You did that.
Vice versa. No, it's vice versa. It's vice versa, right? And so a lot of people will serve. Like, we tell a lot of singles,
Well,
get
that is
involved
true.
in your church.
Yeah, that is true.
Because you might meet somebody while you're serving.
But here's the thing, though. Even when you're serving, you still have to be mindful that you're there for that reason.
I laid eyes on my wife for the very first time when I was serving.
I'm glad you brought that back.
Yeah,
because
I was serving in youth ministry.
Yeah.
And she walked in with some other youth. Right, they weren't a part of the event. They were just coming to view it because they were the pastor's kids.
Yeah.
And so, I just was like asking a friend, like, who was that?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's such and such X. And I'm like, oh, X, you sure X? Cool. Burned in the back of the brain. X. Okay, cool. And so, like I'm saying, like, I never would have met my wife or known who she was until, years later.
Yeah.
If I hadn't seen her and asked who she was. Because, and God had me serving.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really serving. I wasn't really serving against my will. It was because I was single, and Thursday nights there was nothing else to do. I went to church every Thursday, so when they were like, "You're here, you might as well serve."
Yeah.
But I also felt called to youth. I felt like God called me to the youth.
I think that was happening with me too. I was serving at my local church.
Yeah.
And met I've known mine for years, but like serving and we were serving together in certain capacity. So that happens. Do you trust church? Like, did you trust finding somebody in a church now? Because you're hearing bad stories about things, and
I think the church is on fire with a sin problem and a lust problem and all this other kind of stuff. I think
so. You should say, man, I'm lusting, she lusting. Let's just lust together.
Nah, I think you got to
get married.
Careful. I think you got to be careful. I think church, man. I'll say when I was a single man in the church, I wasn't out there looking to do dirt.
Gotcha.
I wasn't looking to do girls dirty. I wasn't looking to do the Lord dirty. Like, I was like focused. Like,
but you was an inspector dater.
That's different. But
he didn't care about his reputation, y'all. He wasn't trying to do the women dirty, but he didn't care about his reputation.
You don't understand you don't understand what inspector dating was. I've only dated 2 people at my church.
Gotcha.
I've been at my church for 25 years.
Yeah.
2 people.
Yeah, that's true.
25 years.
Yeah.
3. Okay, 3.
Dang, the number still comes
I just thought about something. Yeah. But
get him, Holy Spirit. Let the truth come out of him.
In 25 years, no one was like, that's a dog, stay away from him.
Oh, wow.
No one was like, that's a wolf in sheep's clothing, stay away from him. Because that wasn't what I was about.
Yeah.
So I was there for the right reasons. I was there raising my hands and praise and worship because I loved the Lord.
Yeah.
I was serving God. I just happened to be fellowshipping, and I met people along the way.
Do you think you could have met Toya somewhere outside the church? Because that's the new thing now. Is like singles saying like, we don't need church to find. As a Christian, I don't need church to find somebody.
No, and I'll say
find
this.
a spouse.
No, because I told you my confidence was shook long time ago when I was like, on like getting numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Until I got the wrong number one day, and I was like, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy I thought I was. So no, I never would have approached my wife in public. It had to be in a situation where we were either forced to talk or it was convenient for us to talk.
Do you think you can find if you were single? Do you think you could find a woman outside of the church? Do you think it'd be helpful to find a woman outside the church? As a Christian man.
No, because all the young ladies that I met through the radio station and through other outside situations, their lifestyles did not live up to what I was looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my wife and I, we sat under the same headship.
Yeah.
I was there when I was 17.
Yeah.
My wife got there when she came to college.
Gotcha.
She came to Atlanta for college. So for me, it's like, I was submitted to the preaching of the word.
Yeah.
You know, the way it was taught to me.
Yeah.
She was too.
Got you.
So when the conversation of, you know, being a Proverbs 31 woman,
Yeah.
I had the same idea and example in my head that she had in her head.
Wow.
So it was easy for us to link that.
Yeah.
I told you, I mean, y'all heard me tell this story before. I knew she was my wife the first day. First conversation was
Wow.
8 hours on the phone.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We talked
Yeah.
about everything. I knew she was my wife that day.
Wow.
And so 2
So-
weeks later, my dad confirmed it. Was like, yo, that's the one you're going to marry. So when you get in the ring? And I'm like, oh, well, pockets is a little thin, but as soon as taxes come in, I got you.
Taxes rings.
I
That's
got
funny.
you.
So here's a question. Another question real quick.
Yeah.
So do you think a Christian man can find somebody that goes to a different church?
Yeah, you can.
No, but what I'm saying, do you think that's good to do that? Like
No, you know what? I've had too many friends tell me that they got into a whose church are we going to go to situation
Yeah.
when they were dating. You know what I mean?
and it didn't turn out good.
They had to split off together. Like the only compromise was we're not going to either church. We're going to find our own.
Oh wow.
And I wouldn't have been comfortable with that.
yeah.
I wouldn't have been comfortable
You put
with
25 years in.
that. Well, I mean, at that point, I was only maybe like 15 years in.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, because like I said, I've been there for 25 years.
Gotcha.
So for me to have been like, oh, I met this girl that goes to Destiny, and she wants me to go to Destiny now, that would have been probably a little different because y'all went to Destiny.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
would have been
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, I know somebody there.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
get
I see what you
involved
mean.
there.
Yeah.
But if I met somebody that was going to World Changers, I'd be like, nah.
Dang! Wow.
First of all, World Changers is 3 times the size of my church.
Oh, I see what
right?
you're saying.
So when I started at my church, we're a mega church now, 40,000 plus. But when I started there, it was 3,000. I was one of the 3,000.
Oh,
one of the early 3.
At Word of Faith.
At Word of Faith.
Wow.
So to be there and to like, I know the leadership. The leadership knows me. The leadership was at my wedding. The leadership helped plan my wedding. The
Yeah.
leadership has been there for every single one of my
So
children's
you
baby
couldn't give
dedications.
so you couldn't give that up. You couldn't give up single Ryan at like single Ryan that got what's your membership number?
Ooh, my membership
30?
Nah. I was in the. I'm probably in the.
1,151.
I'm probably so I was attending when it was 3,000. I
Gotcha.
didn't join to probably around 4,000, something like
Got
that.
you.
So yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to. You in your mind, you like I can't give that up because I'm part of the culture here. I help
Yes.
cultivate the culture here.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want to leave my church for somebody else's church because that's just
it's the
what
same
it
reason
is.
why I would never leave Atlanta.
got you.
Because I feel planted here.
Got you.
I laid down. I was born here.
Got you.
Raised here, and I was able to make Atlanta work for me.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get to the #1 radio platform in the city for hip hop. I
Got
was
you.
able to
Yeah.
meet you and Sean doing
Yeah.
this and start Trackstarz and put a studio in Atlanta to where it's like, okay, we're going to always probably be in Atlanta or
Yeah.
always be in the same city unless we all decide one day, hey, the Lord told all 3 of us to go to LA or somewhere crazy. That happened. But we're always going to be here
Yeah.
because our ministry is tied here. Our roots are here.
Yeah.
My family is here. So for me, it's like the church was the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I served in that youth ministry and then the second youth ministry and then the third youth ministry pastor. Like I served under all those pastors, and those are the people that I know I can pick up the phone and call and get good godly wisdom from.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So that's
and I think that's what Christians singles need.
yeah.
They need good coverings,
Yeah.
and then they also need to know that one, God sees you,
Yeah.
and He has a purpose for your life, and He has somebody for you.
Yeah.
And I really believe, and then Sean says this all the time, that when you in your purpose, He's going to bring that person for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I
Absolutely.
really believe that. And I don't think you have to maneuver yourself and do everything, but I really believe, and I think that's why when you said that going back earlier about without your purpose, I was like, because I feel like there's so many men that, you know, they may think what they got going on is
Yeah.
like their purpose, but once they get submitted, and that's another thing too, talking
Yeah.
about submitting to authority, submitting to people in your life that could speak in your life, like, yo, you thinking you supposed to be such and such, but I see that God's called you to be like working with young people. God's called you to work with young adults. You know what I mean? I see that, bro. Like you need to do that, bro. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need that mentorship and stuff like that, godly mentorship to give you that. Yeah. And I feel like you know what I mean, church. I feel like church can offer that. And I think that this service, a good church offers that. I say a bad church would just continue to make you like serve all the time, and you don't know what your purpose is. You don't know what you're supposed to do in life. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I will say this is the number one advice I have to Christian singles. You will never be prepared for marriage. You can plan for it. Yeah. You can prepare for it. Yeah. But you will never be prepared for marriage. And that's what I think the biggest problem is. Yeah. When I listen to these podcasts, they're like, what's the secret to marriage? What's the key to marriage? How do I prepare? How do I get that? You're not. Yeah. Death. Because you're gonna.
Death is the key to marriage. Dying to yourself. No, I'm serious. No. I'm serious, because I think what people don't tell you is when you get into marriage, it's about like making sure you and your wife bring the best version of each other, right? Yeah. So what that means is I'm going to have to die to some stuff that I think it better for me versus better for us. Yeah. Yeah, I would, and vice versa. Yeah,
I would say what you're saying is 100% true, because I think about that whenever I was making pancakes this morning, right? Yeah, and I'm counting the number of pancakes, and I know we have to be somewhere. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't have enough time to make everybody in this house pancakes, so I didn't eat. Oh wow, because I was like, okay, once we hit 9:05, if they're not sitting down eating, we're gonna take a piece off. I didn't even take a piece off.
You didn't take a piece off.
But it was because in my mind, I was working through my sacrifices. Yeah.
That's why you was killing that Miss Winners when you got here. I was killing the Miss Winners.
I was killing it. But in my mind, I had to work through that sacrifice. Like, I got to still get my son up. Yeah. I still got to change him. I got to be prepared for my son. He's potty training right now. Gotcha. I got to be prepared to know that if he made a mistake in the bed, then we got to stop and give him a bath. Oh, wow. And that's an extra 15 minutes on the preparation. Yeah. So if I've got breakfast going,
you don't get no wipes and just you good.
Sometimes. But what I'm saying is, like, and you're right, like that's number one, because I think the biggest this is gonna sound bad, and I'm probably have to cut the mic at this point. Come on, Ryan. I think the biggest issue with Christians that are looking to get married is they're overthinking it. They're overthinking it. And I will say this, I can't tell you how many hours, days, and months and years I wish I had back in my singleness for the time that I was worried about getting married. Gotcha. And if it was going to happen. Yeah. And when it was going to happen. And who it was going to be. Yeah. Because it robs you of time with God when you need it the most. Right? Yeah. Like, this is when God is cultivating you. This is when God is molding you. This is when God is taking things out and putting things in. Yeah. And you're sitting there, worried about whether or not you go to this destination show if she's going to be there. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is the biggest issue. But then I will say this, and I know y'all are going to hate me for this, and this probably might go viral if y'all start cutting clips up and sending this out. But you can't wait to find a man or a woman when they're at their best.
Say that again?
You can't wait to find a man or woman when they're at their best, or take a man or woman when they're at their best, because life is going to happen to you both. Oh, yeah. And there's good and there's bad. Yeah. And you got to be ready to go with it. Since I've been married, I've been laid off 3 different times. Yeah. Because I've been in tech space, I've been in the nonprofit space, and I've been in the receiving end of every recession, but I've been laid off 4 times. It was different when I first got laid off and I was single to when getting laid off now, having a wife and 4 kids. Yeah. And so you're going to go through probably when you feel your worst. Yeah. And you're going to need that person to be there to help bring you up to where God wants you to be. Yeah. And so the issue is, if you're waiting on his credit score to get to 830, it may remain at 700 until you get involved. Wow. You see what I'm saying? And then you help him manage finances, figure out how to do this, how to get zero financing for the business loan. Like you've got to work with people where they are. Yeah. And I think that one of the problems I saw with Kevin Samuels was kind of telling people you need a high value man, high value woman, and you gotta find that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When that person is in the making the entire time through.
Man, this was
in the conversation.
This was Christian Single Men of Trackstarz, the NPR edition. A lot of
Minus Sean.
a lot of. We're not going to tell you what happened, but this actually turned out good.
It did. It did.
I quarterbacked this thing very well.
You did. I feel like I'm.
and I didn't do it on purpose, but I was like, I could pull this up. I'm good. I'm good at pulling out stuff from people. Pause. But I think this turned out very well.
It did.
This may be the new thing for us. How do you feel?
I told you guys, like, I think I told you all on last week's call that this needs to be what we transition to.
Wow.
But I think it needs to be the 6 of us.
All our wives.
Yes, I do.
We gotta get,
because here's the thing.
Sean, you gotta talk to Alfie. Alfie is like, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing I'm noticing. I'm noticing that on these Christian podcasts, people are being very.
But then also, I don't want us to get mad at our spouses.
Nah, you got to have that conversation beforehand, and the Lord has to also, bless this situation.
I'm talking about when you get home, because when you get home, like when you get home today, it's Toy gonna be like, oh, so Mr. 106 and Mr. What's the 107? Nah, talk to me. What you talking about?
No, honestly,
those 3 girls.
Honestly, she knows them. So it's not a big deal. But no, honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think when you, because I mean, my wife and your wife say stuff on Becoming Eva all the time.
Yeah, shout out to Becoming Eva.
Yeah, well, we're sitting in the audience and sitting in the comments like, real talk. Yeah, okay.
But you know it's different when we say it.
Right.
It's a little different. You do get that. So, what were you talking about on the show today? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a difference than.
I get that from my wife when Sean's like, yeah, Ryan, you remember you was the one that did what? Yeah. So I get that from my wife when she feels like I had a conversation that she wasn't aware of. Like, when did that happen?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But no, honestly, I don't think it'll be bad at all. I think what these podcasts are lacking the most is the real raw reality of what's happened. I feel like
that's Thunder in Paradise.
I feel like a lot of these podcasts are coming from the intellectual. This is written by an author. This was a quote that I heard. I feel like this is real marriage. This is what we dealt with.
Yeah.
This is how it goes and what you say and what you don't say.
Well, honestly, what we could do is just talk to men. Talk to single Christian men.
I want to do that. I want to do that.
We're Christian. We were once Christian.
Let me tell you what's happening with Christian men, though. Christian single men.
Oh, whack. That's what you're saying?
No, they're wilding out.
Whack.
They're wilding out.
Whack. That's whack.
They're whack too. But
whack.
I'm saying, but when you say something from a godly standpoint, they're like.
Well, it depends on how you come in. And me and Mike had a conversation about this. I was telling her about how sometimes the reason why Kevin Samuels, Red Pill, Blue, why these people are so successful at what they doing is because they're giving men, some that's Christian, some are not.
Yeah.
They're giving them that confidence while the world and the entertainment is kicking them down. You get what I'm saying? While I don't say feminism, but just while women having that power to say, quote a Cardi B song, if you broke, you can't get nothing from me type mentality.
Yeah.
And it's like quality good men like, yo, I'm a good dude. I may not be where you want, but I can pray you through some stuff. I can help you, encourage you. I can blah, blah, blah. I may not financially be on your level, but I can do that. And I think me, you, and Sean can help Christian men become better men of God.
Yeah. And I think, too, the big issue is people are afraid to get out there. You know what I mean? Like, say God sends you the right person, right? I listened to a podcast.
Ryan, God is trying to end this.
Say God sends you the right person, right? There was a Christian married couple, and they were like, when is the right time to get married? And they were like, maybe you've dated 1 to 3 years. Yeah. And I don't believe that.
Oh, wow.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
what that person's gonna do or say. Like I said, if God has confirmed it, you just gotta go with it.
Yeah.
You just gotta go with it. I had never had a relationship before I met my wife. Maybe that was the thing that launched me forward, was knowing that
you just had dates.
Huh?
You just had dates. Gotcha.
But
okay.
maybe the thing that launched me forward, that told me I'm ready to live with somebody, I'm ready to commit to one person, I'm ready to whatever, was the one thing that everybody else was afraid of.
Yeah.
The bad experience that you've had with somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just jumped in like, oh, if this is going to go sour, it's going to go sour with me all the way in.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just went for it. And I feel like a lot of people are like, let me go through the seasons. Let me see them do this. Let me see them do that. Let me let them meet, blah, blah, blah. I proposed to my wife before ever meeting my in-laws.
Yeah.
You know, I
Well-
talked to her father first, but I'm saying like it was easy because it was like,
Yeah,
I
but
met your daughter 3 months ago.
yeah,
I'm
but
about to marry her.
I would say this. I do believe in the seasons thing because you should see somebody in different seasons of their life, not long. You know, I think that was one of my biggest regrets, waiting so long to pop the question in mind. But I think at the same time, you need to see people in their valley high. I mean, the mountain high, valley low.
I agree. But seasons, people, when people use seasons, they're talking about seasons of the year. I'm talking about seasons of life, and that can all happen in 2 weeks.
That can.
A person could lose
That
their
can.
job.
That
A
can.
person could
That
go
can.
on a mental breakdown. A person could go through depression.
Yeah.
That could all happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So then, have you
Shoot,
watched them
now
through
it
the
can happen in a day.
Yeah. So
You got that
seen
job
them-
experience at 9 to 5. You be like,
Yeah.
dang, I lost my job at 9. I lost this, and then at 5, you like depressed. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna have to use this as a Patreon podcast because Sean gonna be like, y'all talk for 45 minutes.
I know. I'm trying to end this. This is
Lord is ending it.
This is why I know this would be good because Ryan before we started this, quick insider.
Yeah.
Ryan was like, Jeremiah, I can't talk for no 30 minutes about this, and I was like, okay.
It's been 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we love you guys. Thank you for it. I promise a dope line for line next week. We probably do the Andre 3000 versus Nell Grant, formerly with Toby Nwigwe. Dope. This is a dope battle, man, and stuff like that. But we love you guys.
Yep.
We will see you guys next week. Same Trackstarz time, same Trackstarz channel.
All right, you in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Wright to Sean Tennant, DJ Jeremiah. Lego.
Deuces.